The Young Thug YSL Rico trial has been filled with wild moments since even before it began. And we are going to go through the top 5 craziest moments of the trial so far. From goat sacrifices to the judge going off on prosecutors for being shiesty with the evidence that they are presenting, to Young Thug's co-defendant almost being unalived. And to be honest, this shit is wild. And it's still only the beginning, as the prosecution has over 700 witnesses prepared to take the stand. And we're only about 12 to 14 days into the trial, guys. And it's supposed to take around 12 months, and it could easily take another 9 to 12 months, and that's without the delays of people getting, well, we'll get to that in a minute, because the trial has now been paused until January because of some very shocking events, and like I said, we'll get into it. But first, I am Joe Stone, and this is the Church of Joe Stone podcast, where we find the most shocking and provocative stories in the culture and take them to church. Make sure you subscribe. Now, number 1 is my personal favorite because it shows how good Young Thug's lawyers are. To be honest, if I'm ever locked up or facing some real time, y'all hire these guys, like they are the ones. And what these clips show, or what they expose, is the prosecutor's shiesty courtroom behavior and how they've been playing a little dirty throughout this entire process. And it started on day 1 with their opening statements, which had the judge going off and eventually losing it on everyone.
You could have asked me that an hour. I mean, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about any of this. Sit down, Mr. Am. Are you...
Including the defense, unfortunately. This all almost caused a mistrial, with the defense claiming that prosecutors hadn't turned over all their slides and their PowerPoints, and when they finally did, they realized that it was riddled with errors. Like, to be honest, they looked like a bunch of amateurs and were not prepared, even though they had months to do that, and started fumbling the ball on day 1 of trying to prosecute Young Thug.
Then, Young Thug's lawyer asked the judge for a mistrial because of slides on the prosecutor's PowerPoint he says they've never seen and were inaccurate.
How do we just violate court orders? So, yes, I have a serious motion for a mistrial because it's intentional misconduct.
Chief Judge Earl Glanville admonished the district attorney's office for the oversight, but denied the motion for a mistrial because opening statements aren't evidence.
This would lead to the prosecutors looking bad and the defense pissing off the judge for calling him out on it, and the fact that he was kind of letting them slide, because from their point of view, that's what was happening, and they had directly defied the judge's orders by not clearing their presentation with the defense, who's supposed to be able to see everything that's going to be thrown at their client before it's presented in court. And of course, they pushed for a mistrial, and it looks like the prosecution was trying to play some dirty games with Young Thug's life on the line.
The defense claimed that there were at least a dozen slides that the DA's office never showed them, despite the judge's order.
Any other argument?
No, just I wish that the court would just follow their own instruction.
Well, I'll follow my instructions when you all bring to my attention what you need to in a timely manner.
So yeah, it got a little crazy. Now, number 2, you might have seen become a meme because it went viral online. And what I'm talking about is Young Thug's defense lawyers trying to explain away some of his lyrics and even his name. I'm guessing in hopes to paint Mr. Jeffrey or Young Thug in a different light.
It was his path that if he could ever make it as a musical artist and help his family, himself, and as many others out of this endless cycle of hopelessness, he would be truly humble under God. That's what thug means.
And then they had to go into detail in breaking down pictures of Young Thug throwing what the prosecutors were alleging were gang signs. Well, that's just hilarious as well.
There's nothing wrong with holding up a blood sign, but that's not a blood sign. Blood sign is like this. It looks like a B. That is a P. It's called pushing P. And it's positivity. It means any circumstance you're in, if you think positively about something, you could make it through.
So pushing P is pushing positivity. Thug is truly humble under God. And you probably saw memes everywhere making fun of the fact that the lawyers were trying to take this time to clean up Thug's image and some of the terminology he's most commonly known for using. But this will lead us to number 3, which also went viral. But what I found more interesting is that the fact that the judge decided not to tell the jury that their faces had been leaked to the public. And it's because he didn't want to spook them or taint the jury in any way. But also, if you were on that jury, you would probably want want to know if Young Thug is as bad as they say he is, and he's this big crime boss who I'm sure they think is capable of all kinds of things, even from a jail cell. Well, I'm pretty sure those people would want to know if their faces were shown to the public, so maybe some people of Young Thug, because if that's the case, then I'm guessing that'd be kind of dangerous. But the judge decided not to tell anybody, and the trial went on. Now, number 4 is also ridiculous. It was another plus in the book for Young Thug. Why? Because a police investigator that was called to the stand as a witness for the state incorrectly ID'd a suspect in court. What do I mean? The man saw people that was never there, and one of Young Thug's lawyers let him hang himself on this perfectly and cooked the guy.
Can you look around the courtroom and tell me if you see Quantavious Greer in this courtroom?
He was sitting over there, but I don't know where he's sitting at now.
He was sitting in over here today?
Looked like him that was sitting over there.
Can you point him out?
I mean, I don't see anybody now. I don't see him now.
You believe you saw Mr. Greer this morning?
Yes, sir.
Where did you believe you saw him sitting?
Next to the light-skinned dude.
The light-skinned dude? Okay. What was he wearing?
A suit.
What color was the suit?
A dark color suit.
Did he have on a tie?
Yes, sir.
What color was the tie?
I'm not familiar with the color of the tie.
When did you see him in the courtroom?
They look alike. If that wasn't him, I'd have to see that person again, but let's see. Oh, no, that's not him. It looks like him. They favor.
Now, again, this is alarming and probably sent red flags to the jury, and again makes the prosecution look bad. Why? Because the prosecution was expecting these police officers or these investigators. That's the whole point of you putting them in the stand. The jury should be able to rely on the testimony of the cops and their memory, etc. But come to find out, there's mistaken identity if he saw a guy 5 minutes ago. So how can we trust it? What he's saying is accurate if he's literally making up people in the courtroom who literally were never there. But this is where things will take a deadlier turn. Number 5 is crazy, and we're gonna have a bonus one because I have something even actually crazier than this. But number 5 is crazier because just a few days later, after the previous investigator was just seeing imaginary people, but just a few days later, things will take a crazier turn and delay the case until 2024.
Right now, Shannon Stillwell is in the hospital after being stabbed inside the Fulton County Jail.
Shannon Stillwell, Young Thug's co-defendant, would be stabbed in jail or has been stabbed in jail, and the judge again would make the decision to not tell the jury, citing it as a medical issue as he did not want this to also affect the case.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a medical issue come up with one of our participants, so I'm going to have to recess for today, okay?
Shannon Stillwell is a co-defendant of Young Thug, faces 8 separate counts in this trial, including murder. And it's not too surprising something like this happened, as known enemies of YSL are also housed in that same Fulton County jail. And well, anything could have happened. But right now, they're keeping the details hush-hush because the more information that goes out, the more likely that information could find its way into the wrong people's hands and possibly take the entire trial. But with all that said, I do have a bonus. And technically, this is the bonus because it happened before the trial started, but I had to add it because I feel like enough people don't know about this. But goat sacrifices. And it also involves Shannon Stillwell, again, Young Thug's co-defendant and a member of YSL, the same guy that got stabbed in jail.
Shannon Stillwell's March 2022 arrest, officials found a, quote, religious ceremony which involved the supposed sacrifice of goats.
Now, apparently, part of this was caught on video, and we know about all of this because Young Thug's legal team made an effort to suppress this evidence in court,
petitioning the court to exclude evidence of a ritualistic sacrifice in his Rico trial.
The theory behind killing animals is you're draining their energy, their power, and to use for mystical purposes.
Now, we don't know what mystical purposes Shannon had for cutting up goats, but it's fair to say that it probably won't help him win this case, especially if the jury gets to find out about it. But it definitely makes good YouTube content. We can't leave that out. But that's my top 5 picks of the craziest moments of the trial, plus a bonus one because I just love you guys. But let us know what you think. If you've been following the trial and the case, let us know if you want us to keep covering this, and also what are your most interesting or shocking moments or telling moments that you've seen in this whole YSL Rico trial. But that's our show for the day. I am Joe Stone, and this is the Church of Joe Stone podcast. When cool comes to pray, you come to stand, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another video coming your way. We find the most shocking and provocative stories in the culture and take it to church. I will see you in the next one.